Hey, hello, and welcome back. I am Debbie Peterson of Getting to Clarity, and this is another episode of the Getting to Clarity Show. This is the place where you come to get the tips, tools, and techniques to be a more impactful leader, to create more of an impact where it's important to you, but with less of a sacrifice in your life. So let's start with the topic today, how to communicate smarter so that you lead better. Smarter, not harder. So as a new leader, one of the most important skills that you can develop is effective communication, but that's a huge topic. But what I really want you to know is that effective communication isn't just about being clear. Real effectiveness happens when you are adaptable in your communication. So the ability to tailor your communication style to meet the needs and the preferences of your team members, perhaps even individually, can make all the difference in how well you manage your team. So why tailoring communication matters? Well, think about it. The diverse nature of our workplaces today means that your team members will likely have varying communication styles, and they will be shaped by their personalities, by their roles, by their cultural backgrounds, and who knows what else. What works for one person may not work for another. And as a leader, if you use a one-size-fits-all approach, you risk miscommunication. What does that mean? It means increased misunderstandings, reduced productivity, and people disengaging. So imagine trying to motivate someone who prefers very direct, concise instructions, and you give them instead a lengthy, detailed, you're droning on sort of explanation. Their eyes are going to glaze over. They might feel overwhelmed, they might feel frustrated, and likely they are missing the key points that you intended to convey. So on the other hand, giving a brief, very high-level overview to someone who thrives on the details could leave them feeling lost or even unsure about what they're supposed to do because they didn't get enough information from you. So it's important to know this. So let's dive into understanding the basics. What does tailoring communication mean? Great question. Tailoring communication means adjusting how you interact based on the individual needs of your team members. This doesn't mean changing your message. It means delivering it in a way that resonates with the person that you're speaking to. So for new leaders, this is particularly important because you are building trust and you are establishing your leadership with your team. So your style, your leadership style, is being established still. So let's consider some of the things that might get in the way and some of the things that you need to focus on. How about personality differences? Some people are more analytical, other people are more intuitive and creative, right? Analytical individuals may appreciate the detailed data, the structured conversations, while someone who's more intuitive or creative might prefer something that's a little more big picture. So you want to tailor those discussions in creative brainstorming instead. How about role-based communication? So different roles require different types of communication. So for example, your finance team might need very clear data-driven communication, a lot of detail, while your creative team might benefit from more open-ended discussions. Encourage brainstorming, ask good questions. Another thing to consider, cultural backgrounds in your teams. Cultural influences can shape how people interpret your communication. So for instance, in some cultures, direct communication is valued, while in other cultures, a more indirect approach is preferred. So being aware of these nuances helps you to prevent miscommunication all the way around. And it allows you to see your people and build stronger relationships. So what are some practical tips for tailoring your communication now that we've covered why tailoring your communication is so important? So let's look at some very practical ways that you can take this and you can implement it. Number one, observe and listen. Before you can adjust your communication style, you need to understand the preferences of your team members. So pay attention. How do they interact with others? How do they respond to different kinds of communication? And even how they phrase their emails or their language. Are they direct or are they more reflective? Do they prefer written communication over verbal? These are breadcrumbs for you to follow. So an action step here. Spend some time observing your team's communication habits. Just make some notes on what seems to work best for each person. That is gold for you. Number 2, ask for feedback. Sometimes the simplest way to understand someone's communication preferences is to ask them. And this not only provides you with valuable insights, but it shows that you value their input and you want to get to know them, which can really help to create more trust and build better relationships with your team. So an action step here would be have a one-on-one conversation with each team member. Ask them, how do they prefer to receive feedback, instructions, updates, whatever the case may be. This is going to give you a clearer understanding of how to approach each person. Number 3, adapt your approach. So, okay, you gathered the insights, start adapting your communication style. So for instance, if you're dealing with a detail-oriented person, make sure that you provide thorough explanations and answer any questions that they might have. For those who prefer the high-level summaries, keep your communication tight and concise and just focus on the key points. Action step here. In your next team meeting, try adjusting how you present information based on what you've learned about your team's communication preferences. And then just observe. How does this impact their engagement and their understanding? Number 4, leverage the support of others. So as a new leader, you don't have to navigate the challenges of your communication all on your own. Look for people around you who are known for their strong communication skills, whether they're colleagues, mentors, or even leaders from other departments. These people can offer valuable advice on how to tailor your communication style effectively according to what they've learned. Don't hesitate to ask them for specific tips or examples on what's worked for them in the past and what hasn't. And additionally, they might be able to recommend communication courses or workshops or other resources that can further enhance your communication skills. So action step here. I want to get you into action if that's not clear already. Identify a few colleagues or mentors who excel in communication and then reach out to them for advice. Ask them about techniques that they use and whether they can suggest any communication resources that could help you improve. And finally, 5, practice consistently tailoring your communication. So when you tailor your communication, your style isn't just a one-time effort. It's an ongoing process. You're going to tailor your communication, you're going to see how it lands, and then you are going to take that feedback and you're going to tweak it. Because the more you practice, the more naturally it will come to you. And over time, you're going to develop a very keen sense of how to adjust your approach for different individuals and situations. And that makes you a more effective and impactful leader. Now, an action step here, commit to practicing tailored communication every day for the next week. Okay, that's going to be your focus. Reflect on what works and where you can improve, and then adjust your approach accordingly. So start tailoring your communication now, because this is essential for any leader. It doesn't matter if you're a new leader or you've been there for a while, but it's especially important when you are new to leadership, because it helps you to connect with your team on a deeper level. They feel seen and heard, and it assures that everyone is on the same page and working towards the same goals. So your next step. Take the next 48 hours, pick one of the action steps that we talked about, and make this adjustment. You're not only going to be a more open, effective, impactful leader, but you're going to build a better team. So until the next time, here is wishing you all the clarity that you deserve to create the impact that you desire. Take care, and bye-bye for